Revelation, the removal. Hebrews 10:9. Then said he, Lo, I come to do thy will, O God. He takes away the first that he might establish the second. This verse describes the removal of the old to establish the new. And the removal happened in three parts: seals, trumpets, and vials. We're now going to look at the removal of the seals. This happened between the time of Babylon and the cross, because the removal came in seals, trumpets, and vials. The seals were upon the people when these four kingdoms of the world went through and tried to conquer territory, and they literally destroyed the nations, as it were. In visions, Daniel saw the history from Babylon up to the cross, and he had to seal it. Daniel 12 verse 1, And at the time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which stand for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that time. And at the time thy people shall be delivered, every one shall be found written in the book. This time he was talking about was the time when Christ was crucified and there was war in heaven. Revelation 12:7-8. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against the angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found in heaven no more. Revelation tells us at that point the old dragon was cast out of heaven, and he was on earth as a roaring lion, trying to kill the infant church. Revelation 5 verse 5-7. And I saw an angel proclaiming with a loud voice, Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? These seals that Daniel sealed. And one of the elders said to me, Weep not, behold, the Lion out of the tribe of Juda, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and loose the 7 seals thereof. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne, and on the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God, sent forth into the earth, and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. He opened the seals, and the lion became a lamb. Daniel 12:4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end, and many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. In Daniel, it was sealed, and in Revelation, it was opened. Isaiah 29:10, he says, The vision of all is like a book that was sealed, that they could not read. In Deuteronomy 29:29, God said to Moses, When something is sealed, it belongs to God. When it's opened, it belongs to us. When it belongs to God, it means He didn't want this calamity to come, but for His purposes, it did came. And in Deuteronomy 32, He said to Moses, Sing them a song. And Moses sang them a song of the total destruction of the land that would be left desolate. And this song was also now opened in Revelation. In Revelation 15, they sang the song of Moses and the song of the Lord, meaning the time of their destruction is here. And this was all sealed in God's treasury. In Babylon, it was the final turning point of their destruction. In Daniel 12:4, he says, But thou, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end, and many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. And in Revelation 5, and one of the elders said to me, Weep not, behold, the Lion out of the tribe of Judah hath prevailed to open the book and loose the 7 seals. So from Daniel right up to Christ is a certain time, and right up to this destruction is a prolonging of that time. The 40-year day of vengeance of the final removal of the old. When Christ came, it was the Reformation. Everything came together in Him, and everything changed in Him. Isaiah says, Rise, shine, for your light has come, but a gross darkness is now filling the earth. because the old had to be removed. And when they crucified the Christ, the seals opened, and you could see the history from Babylon right up to 70 AD. The first 4 seals was 4 horses, a white horse, a red horse, a black horse, and a grey horse, resembling these 4 kingdoms or the 4 winds that blew over the earth, or the 4 horses that ran over the earth. The 5th seal were the martyrs that would not take the seal of Satan or the beast. Then the 6th seal, 6, the number of man. God paid the price for humanity's sin. And then the 7th seal was the sealing of the 144,000, the perfect number that had to come in. And the trumpet started blowing. The trumpets were on the city, and the first 4 trumpets, the city was divided in 3, and every time a third was damaged. The last 3 trumpets was the woes that came from Isaiah. And in Matthew 23, Jesus said, "Woe unto you, scribes, Pharisees, hypocrites. These things are not for us. It was for that wicked generation that called for his blood." And then finally, the 7 vials were to pour out upon the temple, because no one could enter the temple that was open in heaven while the old was still standing. And Revelation 16, he says he heard a voice from the temple to pour out the vials, and in one day the temple was destroyed. When Christ was crucified, it was literally the middle of the final week of Daniel's prophecy. 70 AD, we also find 1 week of destruction, which started 66 AD and ended 73 AD. And in the middle, the sacrifice stopped. Daniel 9:27, he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cease the sacrifice and oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. And the abomination was taken out. The sacrifice system which they held on and crucified the Christ was now totally removed. Revelation 6:1, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals. The Lamb is the crucified one. And I heard as it were a noise of thunder, one of 4 beasts saying, "Come and see." The first one was a white horse that came to conquer, Babylon. He conquered the whole world. The red horse that removed peace from the earth. Medo-Persia came in and took over from Babylon. The black horse that brought famine. This was Greece with Alexander the Great. And then the grey horse that brought death. This was Rome. Rome had iron teeth crushing everyone in its path. And we read that in Daniel 7. The 5th seal were the martyrs of the Lamb, those that stood for truth at that point. And the 6th seal was the earthquake, when the sun and the moon became darkened. The moon became blood and has nothing to do with us. Israel was the sun and the moon and the stars that fell like untimely figs. And the 7th seal, God sealed 144,000, meaning that when he was on the cross, everything was in place. This was the darkest day ever on the earth, when man crucified the Creator, yet God was perfectly in control. And Isaiah prophesied the government is on his shoulders. 12 in the old, 12 in the new, 24 elders, 144,000. These kingdoms came in succession, and there was no space between taking over. And Christ was baptized, crucified, and 70 AD all happened during the time of Rome. And before the cross, it was the dealing of the seals on the people. Revelation is not altogether chronologically. It is a spiritual book, and you have to understand it in the spirit. So Revelation 6:1 says, I saw the Lamb opening the seals. And the 5th seal you pick up in Revelation 6 verse 9 to 11. And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar souls of them that were slain for the word of God and the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord and true, dost thou not avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given to every one of them. And it was said unto them, they should rest for a little season, until their fellow servants also, their brethren, should be killed as they were, should be fulfilled. Then there was the earthquake, and then the seventh seal sealed those that also became martyrs in that period of time. Revelation 7:4, and I heard a number of them that were sealed, 144,000, and all the tribes of Israel. Please remember, 1,000 is not a number. It means perfection. 10 is complete. 10 times 10 times 10. 3 is God. 1,000 is perfection. Revelation 12 verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, that they should not love their lives unto death. The apostles were all appointed unto death, 1 Corinthians 4. And they became the foundation stones of the New Jerusalem. And the other people that came through, they became the daughter of Zion that birthed the church. The day of the Lord is a thief in the night. It stole those people because Jesus warned his disciples to flee Jerusalem when they see the calamity coming. Revelation 20 is one of the most difficult chapters in Revelation. It deals with the progression of what happened to Satan. He was bound 1,000 years. 1,000 is not 1,000, it's a perfect time. But you cannot read this without Revelation 6, because in Revelation 6 there were these people under the altar before the cross. And Revelation 20, 1 verse 6, and I saw the thrones and they that sat upon them. When you hear about the thrones, it is the judgment. And the judgment was given to them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for a witness of Jesus and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast or his image, neither had received the mark upon the forehead and their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. So the perfect time Satan was bound was before the cross. Blessed and holy is he that hath a part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and he shall reign with them 1,000 years. There are two perfect periods described in Revelation 20, and we have to understand that this is a spiritual book that cannot be interpreted with a natural mind, and we have to seek out the word and find the mate.